You've just been diagnosed as a kidney patient and you ask your doc, hey doc, what can I eat? And he gives you a list. It says low salt, low phosphorus, low potassium, low protein. And at the end of it, you still don't know how to structure your plate. This video is just for you, where I give you in 7 easy steps how to structure your diet. But to understand this, you have to watch the whole video. So be with me. So when your dietitian is preparing this diet, she's not just randomly saying no to this, and nah. There's no logic behind that. She ensures that with this restricted diet, you still have enough energy for your day-to-day activities. This diet is for the rest of your life. It's not just for a small period of time. So let's build your plate. Step number 1, your weight. This is the basis and the foundation of your diet chart. Based on your weight, we calculate the whole diet. If you're a patient on dialysis, then we need your dry weight. That is the weight without the excess fluid in your body. If you're not on dialysis, then your exact weight right now is enough. Step number 2, the calories. This is one number which we do not restrict, because if your body is low on calories, it's low on fuel. And what does it do? It breaks down its own muscle. So the person is low on energy and low muscle mass. So the formula is simple. It's 25 to 35 calories per kg per day. So for a 40 kg patient, it might come to around 1000 to 1400 calories per day. It's a range, not a fixed number, and it depends on your age, activity, and overall health. But the point is, we do not restrict calories. So now, once the calorie tank is full, let's go to step number 3, which is protein. So you always heard that when you're a kidney patient, there's no paneer, there's no fish, there's no chicken allowed. Nah, it's not like that. As a kidney patient, you require 0.8 grams of protein per kg per day. So for a 40 kg patient, that comes to around 32 grams. And if you're on dialysis, it increases 1 to 1.2 grams per kg per day. That's coming around 40 to 48 grams per day. So the point is, you do not over restrict. The minimum amount of protein is required, because if you don't give that, you're going to lose up your muscle mass and end up going to be weak. I know what you're thinking. Why haven't I given the diet chart yet? Before I do that, you need to understand what's step 4, and that is phosphorus. So whenever you eat protein, phosphorus comes along like an unwanted guest. It's like the tax you're paying for the price of an item which you buy. And obviously, we don't like tax, right? So the point is, whenever we buy something, we try to give as little as tax as possible. That's the same with protein. How do we know that? Simple. There's something known as a phosphorus to protein ratio. That means how much phosphorus is there with each gram of protein. This is the chart. Did you see that chart? It showed that 1 gram of paneer has more amount of phosphorus compared to the same amount of chicken. So in fact, chicken is better in terms of phosphorus as compared to paneer. But no, that does not mean that vegetarians are having bad sources of protein. It's just that you have to balance the amount of phosphorus which you eat along with your protein. The point I want to make is, protein, chicken, paneer is not bad for kidney patients. It's the excess tax, that is phosphorus, which we are worried about. Step number 5, sodium. Did you know how much salt is allowed in kidney patients in a day? 2300 milligrams per day. That's it, 1 teaspoon. You heard that right. It's for the whole day, not a meal. So whatever you eat, your food, your processed foods, or anything, everything has to contain only this much salt. The mistake what people make is, they try to substitute their regular cooking salt to low salt, rock salt, or senda namak. The difference is that this salt has more potassium as compared to sodium. So you're taking one bad thing and exchanging it with another bad thing. So just stick to your cooking salt. The goal isn't fancier salt, it's just the same salt in a smaller amount. And you'll understand that in step 6, which is potassium. So why does potassium need to be restricted at all? Because a failing kidney cannot excrete that excess potassium, and that can lead to a fatal heart attack or arrhythmias. But here's the twist. If your potassium levels are in range, you do not need to restrict your potassium. But that said, does not mean that you can eat potassium unchecked. You need regular monitoring. And if you're a patient on dialysis, your requirement is around 2000 to 3000 milligrams of potassium per day. That's all. Let's see what that looks on the plate. Step 7 and the last one, the fluid. Let's cut to the chase. If your child is not on dialysis, your child does not need any fluid restriction. In fact, fluid restriction can damage the kidneys. So have as much fluid as your child wants. But if you're on dialysis, then definitely fluid needs to be restricted. That's at least up to half the maintenance fluid of the body's requirement. But that can change based on your dialysis requirement, and that is need to be seen on a case-to-case basis. And now the moment you've been waiting for, the model diet. What should a kidney patient eat? So this diet is for a 40 kg patient, but I'm warning you, this is not to be blindly followed. Please ask your doctor and your dietitian before consuming such a diet. And if you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you found this channel useful, do subscribe to it for more such informative videos. And if you think someone needs this video, please share it to them. Thank you. See you in the next video where we're going to talk about what are the signs and symptoms of a urinary tract infection.